Hi, my name is Dr. Jamie Klingman. I am the founder of the Exit Strategy Company, and I am excited to get the smoke out of the way and help you understand what your business is really worth, as I wish I had when I sold my company years ago.
Hi, my name is Sam Martinez. I'm a business broker with the Exit Strategy Company. And I got into this business because I sold my business as well about 5 years ago. And now I get the privilege to help others exit from their businesses as well. Jamie Klingman.
Mr. Martinez, Sam.
All right. How about we remove some of the smoke and mirrors of how to value a business? I think with social media and with all the press and all the hype now of hey, sell your business or really buy a business. Don't buy a piece of real estate, buy a business. I think a lot of business owners are confused or wonder, how is a business even valued?
I think that's been a perpetual problem. I sold my business over 10 years ago, and I feel like it was a huge problem then, and I think it still is. The number of sellers that I talk to, I know that our team talks to, who maybe even have some basic information, but there's really not a clear path to valuation, I think, a lot of the time, and to understand all of the drivers that ultimately result in what the actual sales price is.
Yeah, agreed. I also think, again, I kind of did the same thing. I think your story is slightly different than mine when it came to my business and how you saw your business. But I think as business owners, we overvalue sometimes how much our business is worth. On the rare occasion, somebody will throw out a number and be like, "Oh my gosh, that is a bargain if you sell it for that." So one of the things that was my issue as well was just thinking that my business was worth more than what I thought it was. And so I know, how about we just like recap? Tell us how basically is a business valued?
So the easiest and the hardest thing I think for most sellers to understand is that businesses are valued on what has happened, not what's going to happen. And that piece is really difficult for a lot of sellers because they've invested time, talent, treasure into building opportunity. But if they don't see that opportunity through, that value isn't the same as though it would be if they were going to go through the whole process and then have those numbers be actualized in end of year and in tax returns and those types of things. So, putting that as the caveat to all, once we get past that step, the business valuation from a number side is actually relatively straightforward most of the time. So it's how much money are you taking in? How much does it cost you to do it? What's left at the end of the day? Times a multiple equals a valuation. But there's a lot of factors, obviously, that can affect that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it depends on industry. It also depends on, it could have the same amount of net profit, but on one industry will command more, an industry will command less. And it's also how recurring it is. And there's a lot of factors there, which I know we'll talk about. So why? Why should we understand? Let's say, okay, I'm not thinking I own this business, I'm doing well, I'm cruising. Yeah, one day I want to get out, but why should I get a valuation done? Or why should I understand how a business is worth now if I'm not ready to sell?
To me, it's important to understand your value now because your value now affects what your value later could be. And what I mean by that is that your value, if your value today is $500,000 and your value next year is $500,000 and your value 3 years from now is $500,000, your company is probably not going to be as worth as much as it would be because it's not growing. It has effectively stagnated. That's where the importance of understanding, are you still growing? Because the minute you stop growing, you start to affect that multiple, that net profit times multiple. And being on top of that, I think can give some direction to, are you really paying enough time, attention? Are you in the right industry? Is the industry in a space that you can continue operating the way you have, or do you need to make some changes? And or is it might be time to sell earlier than you thought it might be?
Yeah. Yeah. And without giving out away too much yet, I will say also, if you have a good business that is sellable, you have a really good business and how it's managed, and it probably doesn't need much of you. So more to come on that.